Caught for adventure.
We're live. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. On StreamYard. Da-da-da. That's where we're putting the show right now.
Oh my gosh. Michael, you want to see a promo we did?
Uh, a promo, yes. Of course I do.
Okay, wait. Let's see if I can get it up here. Here we go. Could you play, please? Oh, um,
I still want to see it. Start the revolution tonight. Then we'll start the
we are
revolution. Yeah,
tonight.
that's right. You know why? Because it's Tuesday.
Why?
And then Tuesday means it's Talk on Tuesday. Interludes extra with you, Valarie Johnson. Know what I'm saying? No.
Join us at 8
What?
Central, 9 Eastern.
Oh, I can see that.
Oh gosh, I just farted.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yes. There's nothing like flatulence. Yeah, it's good. It's good all the time.
It is Talk on Tuesday. This is us live on YouTube.
Live on WebTube?
YouTube.
YouTube. Yes, yes, yes. The tube that is for you. Your tube is YouTube. Absolutely. Good evening, Val. How are you doing
I'm doing
tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. And it feels exciting. I finally figured out this program and I said, "You know what? Let's try it." And usually we are live on Facebook in our group and I put it in the group, "Hey, we're going to be over here." So this is where we'll be is on YouTube. So I'm excited. I'm having a good time. I'm
Okay. All
doing
right.
what we do. That's what we do. We have fun.
Wow. And then if you found us, great. That's awesome. Because
Hmm.
we like to move around. We on the go.
Very much so.
How it is.
Definitely have been on the go and definitely have been moving around. And I know here in
Home run.
Chicago, what was that?
Timmy, home run. What's
Oh,
up?
wonderful.
Two
Yes.
to nothing.
So there's a lot of
Pretty
things
much.
going. There's a lot of things going on Tuesday right now. We got the White
Yes.
Sox playing again too.
Against the Kansas City Royals.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So 3-0 Sox. All right.
What inning are we in?
We are in, was it the third? I think it's maybe the third or so. I
Okay.
gotta double check it. I just keep admiring this home run by my boy Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of live events in this fair city over the last couple of weeks. You were at the Chicago Auto Show at McCormick Place, which is one of the
Yeah.
first times that they were back,
Mm-hmm.
post pandemic. And then there was a little concert out in the park by the lake over the last couple of days called
Little?
Lollapalooza. Called
Was that
Lollapalooza.
Was that little or was that big? I feel like that was big.
It felt big. As someone pointed out to me earlier, you still wearing those wristbands? I'm like, I sure am. These wristbands cost about as much as my car did. So yeah, I'm gonna wear them for a while. I'm a
Wow.
decorative. Okay, this is real life. That was Friday and then Sunday. Friday show, Sunday show. Sunday
Wonderful.
show was something I had my son. We went. He knew we were going to go to Sunday show, and then I surprised him with tickets or wristband or Friday show, which was what we really wanted to see. I found out, and that was Tyler the Creator. So he's a
Oh.
very well known hip hop artist. You saw the BET Awards. He was the guy that was in the car and got blown by the wind and just all
Oh, it
sorts
was
of.
that guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's done videos that are very eccentric with people like Tracy Ellis Ross, where he burns down the studio. Someone that's been linked to Jaden's. Jaden Smith, and some other interesting.
I'm so sorry that just came on so quickly.
That's
Is
cool. That's a boat. They built a boat that moves.
okay. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
the
That
boat moved, so at times it rocked like a lowrider, I guess. And I mean, he went into the clouds. I think his latest is called "Call Me If You Get Lost," but there are lots of series of videos on YouTube and other places that kind of show it. He has a really kind of almost, as my son described it, maybe like a Wes Anderson kind of feel to his work. It's interesting, very interesting.
mhm.
Um, so so that was a big thing going on, which we'll talk about tonight in a little bit more detail.
Mhm.
Some big news coming out of New York. Your second home away from home, right?
Mhm.
And their governor and his touchy
Yeah,
touchy.
I
hmm
was I was in the middle of watching whatever, morning television show that was happening, and it was preempted by an announcement by the Attorney General out of New York, that
Sister.
a sister,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
she went ahead and talked about the charges. Well, I'm sorry, the Andrew Cuomo has been charged with sexual harassment
Well, he was accused
and
of, right?
accused of it, right? And they
They
found
found
their
those
findings,
accusations to be accurate.
right?
Okay.
And that was a little disturbing. Cuomo has denied all charges and definitely has come out and said, "No,
Yeah.
I'm not. I haven't done anything." And he apologized for talking about and for saying, these things to his women staff
Mm,
and stuff. And my thing is, if you are a public servant as a governor, you are elected like the mayor, like an alderman, like a councilman. You're a public servant. So when you are leading, you're just expected to lead and keep your hands to yourself. I feel so bad because when I lived in New York, I clearly remember electing him. I clearly remember voting for him and liked his platform, but I don't know how things had gone awry. And as of recent as
right.
2 hours ago, President Biden has come out and stated that he should resign.
Now,
So,
speaking a little bit of that,
uh,
um, we all knew he was a freak. Okay, I mean, seriously, let's just cut right to it. If you like me, stuck in the house,
mhm,
you're getting two different, completely polar opposite narratives during the hopefully the height, what was the height of the pandemic. You
mhm,
had a president in total denial and was living on Planet Orange, I think. And then you had this other guy who seemed to be actually dealing with the problems in one of the most populous states in the country, and he seemed to be making sense. And he spoke very plainly. And these press conferences seemed to be for New Yorkers. And as they grew, they got picked up by the, 24-hour news looking for something to put on. And
mhm.
then we had people watching the governor of New York almost give a daily rebuttal to the nonsense coming out of the White House. Now, if he had just left it at that, that would
Mhm.
have been one thing. And he still had his tendencies to touchy feely. I mean, that's all regrettable. What I don't like about the dude is personal. It ain't political, it's personal.
Okay.
It's the hypocrisy of it. It's that he lied at times. He wanted to pat himself on the back. He comes out with a book, a self congratulatory. I knew how to treat COVID, and the president didn't kind of book, which was probably true. But you don't do it. People in glass houses, right? Right? I mean, his house is the thinnest of glass. Val said that. Ooh, look frozen. Val is frozen. Let it go. Let it go. I hope she unfreezes soon. So if she does unfreeze, she'll probably give a second to this. That his glass house was just terrible, just horrible, because you can't go out and talk about someone and then do the same thing that they're doing. You just can't do it. It's not going to work. And while that's happening, while that freeze is going on, I do want to say, he's not the only person to kind of talk out the side of his neck. For a while, the baby was the bye bye. The baby went to bye bye on Lollapalooza. So one of the things that I know that at least when I got the tickets, my son and I we were pretty excited. We were going to see the baby. He was a big artist. And the problem was that the baby made some really incendiary, homophobic comments at the Rolling Loud concert, and followed it up with a video that was not conciliatory in any way, shape, or form. So I had a feeling, and I told him, like, you might not be able to see the baby. And sure enough, the baby was the bye bye, had to go. Festival organizers told him, like, hey, here, if you come out with an apology by video before your time, before your date to appear at the festival, we will have you go on. And the baby missed the deadline and did not get that video in, and that's according to Yahoo News. The baby's reps. He was set to produce a video apology that was going to play at Lala, but he missed the deadline. And since that time, he has apologized and written for him on social media. But in hindsight, he got dropped from Lollapalooza, but from seven like other summer fall concerts, including the Governor's Ball in New York and the iHeartRadio Music Festival. So the baby is going to be on Unsung soon on TV1. They'll be a Where Are They Now? Where is the baby now? And I think the baby going to be at the home. Okay. According to organizers, you guys, if you saw anything about Lollapalooza, which I know you did on social media or wherever you were checking things out, you saw how large those crowds were. And one of the things that people were kind of scared about was this concept of Lollapalooza becoming a super spreader event, because there were pictures of people, maskless and just kind of walking around in large crowds. Now, what you got to understand is to get in, you had to show proof of vaccination. That's one of the requirements to get in to the festival. And even though I think there was a video out there with people saying like, "I have COVID," and then walking in to the festival, I saw something a little bit different. Now, Chicago's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, she was on local radio station and they asked her about it. And she said she was aware of this video, which you guys have probably seen. Um, and it showed the people that were supposedly checking the vaccination cards, just kind of waving people through. Well, here's the deal, and I have to agree with the mayor on this, having gone through it. There were two levels of entry into Lollapalooza. So there was one level in which you had to enter and had to show everything. You had to make it through that level to get to the second level to get in. So they've already checked your stuff. So what you probably saw online were people being waved through after they've been checked. And not only that, I personally saw people being turned away who were trying to get in and did not have the correct vaccination information to get in. So, so whatever you guys think happened, it is a super spreader. maybe. I mean, one thing I do know that it was one of those events where it was a, huge happening, and one that you felt like in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, how could this happen? And this may not happen again, but there's a lot of excitement being there. A lot of excitement being there. Um, and I'm wondering uh, when our host will return. I'm sure that she will. But at this point, I can tell you one other thing that you should be aware of. We were working on this week's episode, this week's episode of the podcast of Interludes with Valarie Johnson, and there is an amazing interview coming up for you guys, dropping tomorrow, and that's going to be something I think that you're really going to enjoy. We have an actress that we speak to, actress slash director, who is in what's currently the number two show on Netflix in terms of the Netflix top 10 shows. She's currently in the number two show, at least through Netflix subscribers. That is the CW's All American. And she is also one of the stars of a classic movie that I love and really is one of my favorite films, and that's 1997's Love Jones. Miss Bernadette Speaks will be our guest, and we had a really wonderful, delightful, enriching, spiritually fulfilling conversation with her. And we want to share that with you. So the next interludes with Valerie is going to be that conversation. There's so much to it. I don't know if we can fit it all into one podcast. So you may be hearing a little bit more from Miss Speaks Beyond tomorrow's episode, which drops on Wednesday. So I just think it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. It's one of those kind of chances where you get to talk to someone who is doing something that you want to do, someone who has a lot of wisdom, understanding, and I really liked it, and I think that you will too. And if you've seen either one of those shows, you have a little bit of insight into the person who portrays those roles. As she told us, she has looked at other actresses, other artists to try to figure out exactly what moves should be made. And as someone who is a performer, an artist, sometimes the artistry can either be with theater or it could be music. But anytime you have an artist, you have someone who is creating what you would consider to be like a brand. And so you have to be really careful about their steps. And she's someone who's been able to do that. And I think that that's a really wonderful thing. So um, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow's episode of Interludes with Valarie Johnson. And there she is returning. So welcome back. We haven't stopped, can't stop, won't stop. So I talked a little bit more about Lala, about Lollapalooza,
Mhm.
the fact that the baby got himself to canceled.
Mhm.
As the president wants to cancel the New York governor, the festival organizers canceled the baby.
I'm
So
trying to
baby getting
figure
a little
out.
bit more time off
Yeah,
from performing than he expected. And do you know that the reason why is because he was set to make a video apology and he missed
really?
the deadline.
Hmm.
So his reps got it, which I almost can't believe. They got to the Lala organizers and convinced them if he comes out in and with an apology, that they would let him go on. So they
Oh,
go, okay, he's coming out with a video apology that's really gonna, clear up everything. It's like, yeah. And then he missed the deadline and didn't turn anything in. So they said, nah, nah, son,
yeah.
it can't happen. Not at that festival. Maybe somewhere else, maybe Rolling Loud, even there, that wasn't really well received. But not this one, Val. Val, this crowd, oh my goodness.
Oh, how
Oh,
was
how
the
was the
crowd?
crowd? I saw things that burn in my sight, in my mind, and I just, I'll never get those images erased of things that I saw that I should not have to see.
Wait, you want what you saw
No,
erased?
no, yes, I want it erased. I'm not talking about the things on the stage. I'm talking about the people walking around. I'm talking about the people that had way too much confidence in wearing what they wore or what little they wore. Way too much confidence.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. If your stomach is larger than your
The top?
top, then it should not be out. Okay, it's not a good look. It just ain't. It just ain't. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, I felt like I never felt so old in my life. I really didn't. There were times when they were jumping up, and I swear I was just like, I mean, I felt like Larry David. I was like, whoa, hey, hey, you, you seen those horror movies, where the walls come in on you
Mhm.
and they keep coming. And so I was like, hey, hold on, hey, oh, whoa, whoa. And then at times I'm grabbing my kid, like kind of grabbing him from going into a mosh pit.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is just insane. What is going on? I mean, I had fake memories of doing this at that age. I think I did. I was that person. I understand. So now I'm seeing it from the other side, like, oh no, you can't do that. That's dangerous. That'll hurt somebody. You get an elbow to the face or something. I can't explain that later on. What happened to him? He looks like he got beat up. Well, he was in a mosh pit. A what? Um, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Wow.
So yeah, so since you are here, let me tell you about a person I didn't mention before when you
Okay.
stepped out for your little
Mhm.
break. Um, so that was this girl, this rapper, this female rapper. Her name was Rico Nasty.
Never
Yes,
heard
that's
of
her
her.
name. I know. Of course you haven't. Of course you haven't. I haven't. Or at least I thought I hadn't. Okay, so she's on there, and she looks like Shakari Richardson,
Okay.
the track runner. Okay, so imagine that kind of look. Okay, so like hair, hair below the buttocks, all weave, fingernails. She's got on like a bikini and some kind of vinyl top to it that's see through, of course.
Okay.
Why would you show? So anyway, and she's out there, and the DJ is does only two things pretty much, or three things. He plays a track, he hits a button that goes Rico, 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 and then he hits a button that goes and does a
Okay.
big explosion. And that's how you know a new song is on because it all sounded the same. Swear to God, it just all sounded the same. And I think you have a video of that too there, or you might.
I
Uh,
might.
you might
The
have that.
scary thing is that when I did show the video that we did have, I think
Was
that's
that
what
why everything went?
I think that's why I went out.
Yeah, so that was what the DJ did. So okay, so I've described what she looks like. Her crowd was like that joke in the Erica Badu video "Love of My Life" when she's doing all the rapping and then she looks
Oh,
out
yeah,
at the
that's a funny
crowd.
part. Yeah, it
Okay,
is.
and she's like, "That's different," and she crowd surfs. So
Mhm.
that was what the crowd was like for this
Wow.
girl whose song was like, "Thank God I didn't have to smack her." That's one of her songs. which they all knew the words to.
They knew the word. Okay, well,
Okay,
that's
the crowds were very participatory. They knew the word, just like as old folks singing the Foo Fighters songs know all
mhm,
the words of the Foo Fighters. These folks knew all the words to Roddy Rich, Apollo G, or what's the other one? Rico Nasty. They knew
mhm.
all the words, and they're just like chanting it back at them and bouncing. And I never heard of a rapper who is doing like this trap rap crap, and they're like making the DJs encouraging them to make mosh pits.
Okay,
It,
okay.
it is like the wildest thing, and what I begin to understand is like that's a we you and I never had that. We
No.
never really had like we had some expressions of it, but not from a black point of view, where you had like a black female MC or singer expressing this like rage and frustration and angst, like a group, like a punk group might do, or like some hardcore might do. And she is doing that. The way Alanis Morissette would, scream at the top of her lungs, or Khalees, I hate you so much right now.
I remember that.
Ah. So
Ah.
she is allowing these mostly girls, it's mostly women and gay men, to like get this frustration and like this with attitude out.
Mhm.
It's a new it's new to me. It's new. It's a new form of expression. I wasn't familiar with it. And then to make me feel really goofy because I'm like watching this thinking like this is just crazy. This is ridiculous. I don't like her. What in the world is all this crap? Then she plays a song that I knew.
What song was the Oh, wow, you're laughing. What song was this?
So apparently she's the other half of the duo that does the song Tia and Tamara. So it's Doja Cat, who is pretty well known now.
Doja Cat,
And
okay.
Doja Cat and Rico Nasty, they're the two ladies that do the song Tia and Tamara. Tia and Tamara. Like, thank you very much. You probably don't know the song, but it's a fairly well known underground song. It's a video features parts of like the twins, Tia and Tamara.
Mhm.
And it's sort of a play on the fact that they're twins and that many women are born with twins that grow up with them. So physical twins. But I knew the words to it, so I felt like crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I rap this, or not?
Yeah, and I can tell your voice took a hit from probably all of the for the songs that you did know and yelling.
My voice took a hit from the songs that I did know. There goes my hero.
Yeah.
Watch
Oh,
him as he turns.
yeah, that was Foo Fighters. Yeah, how did they
Yeah,
do? They did a good job, right?
they did. You know what? But they didn't do Big Me. And I really wanted them to do Big Me, the Mentos
Okay.
song. They didn't do the
Mhm.
Mentos song.
They didn't do that one.
No, they didn't
Yeah.
do that. They closed with what was the song they closed? They closed with Everlong, which is
Okay. That's a good one to close out on.
so they open with The Pretender, which is an awesome rock song, and they
Mhm.
close with Everlong. And in the middle was like some of the craziest stuff you've seen. And that was kind of like how I kind of got my son to kind of go along with me. He knew a lot of the Foo Fighters because he's had to listen to it over the years.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but recently, Dave D. Grohl G uh, released some new music under the name DGs. He rebranded the Foo Fighters the DGs.
I
Then they
saw an album cover with that on Apple Music like 2 days ago. So
so
that's
that's the Foo
them?
Fighters, yes. So they are doing rock and roll, semi metal covers of the classic Bee Gees songs.
So
So
there's a rock version of
they
Staying
did YouTube.
Alive?
There's a rock well, see, is the Bee Gees rock or not? Because they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's a recent wonderful Bee Gees documentary that's out on, I believe that's HBO Max. I may be getting that wrong, but it's great. I have watched it recently. It's awesome.
Okay.
So they did You Should Be Dancing. You should be dancing. Yeah. Yeah, and
Oh,
they brawl and they're like, and it's like heavy rock. It's a really heavier rock interpretation of that
wow.
song, and it was awesome. And when
And
they
they performed that one.
disco ball dropped from their from
Wow.
their Foo Fighters went away and it said DGs. The drummer, the drum kit, the face of the bass drum, the kick drum, where you
Hmm.
can see that image. What all night was Barry Gibb. Was Barry Gibb's
Nice.
face. Yeah,
Nice.
with the beautiful flowing brown hair. Yeah, so all super 70s. Um, so it was a lot of fun. They did a lot of fun. He wished one of his daughters happy birthday. Another daughter came out and sang a punk song with
One.
the group. Which is great. I,
Okay.
and I think one of the things that really solidify and says who they are is that they are straight rock and roll, and
Okay.
they can hang with the Bee Gees. They can do all these different styles, and then they came, and said like, "Hey, our audience is everybody. We're here
Hmm.
for everyone. We don't, you know, we're not pushing away any potential fans. We love all of you, and we respect you." And it was a really good close message to that day, which was it started out kind of sideways, and had the festival organizers having to like switch up the lineup and do sort of all this stuff. Um, People
Yeah.
our age, maybe Brittany Howard was there, and she was great. She's a really
Okay.
wonderful singer, former lead singer of the Alabama Shakes, and she performed her new music, which included like a Stevie Wonder cover that was really showed the band off, and it
All
was
right.
nice. Yeah, yeah. So it was a good experience.
Good.
I don't think it's going to be a super spreader event, but I
I heard.
can't see them trying to do that again, though.
Yeah, but I heard they were very strict. You told me they were very strict with
Yeah,
you showing either your vaccination card or that you had a negative COVID test. So that um for that, and I think they asked the mayor, they asked
yeah, right.
they
Yeah,
called
yeah,
they
right.
asked the mayor, like, are
Yeah, we
you
mentioned
okay?
that. Hmm.
Were you okay with this Lollapalooza? And she said, yeah, when we made the decision back on June 11th, it was a good decision because things were turning
I
around.
think so.
So
Yeah, I mean, certainly, it was made it economic. I don't know, I haven't heard any numbers on what the impact for the city was in terms of commerce, but it had to be huge. It had to
yeah,
be huge. Event parking ranged from $30 to $50
yeah,
a day, and that's on top of whatever you spent to get into the festival.
right.
Tickets ranged into the thousands of dollars to get
I,
in.
I had
Uh,
a
mhm.
I had a good friend of mine. Her daughter came in from a different city, and it was very expensive to rent her car. I want to
Oh,
say $1,000 for 3 days. It was something ridiculous. So,
not just that.
mhm.
Okay, so a soda, a
Well,
can of
oh,
soda,
Sunkiss. I didn't remember
a,
Sunkiss. Yeah,
a can of soda, $5. One can, $5.
yeah. And I see the fear is that a lot of vendors and whatnots like price gouged because they're trying to make up for what didn't happen last year. Because I can understand $2. I can definitely understand $3, but $5 for 12 ounces. Yeah. And they knew they had you because you weren't allowed to bring anything into the park. They were probably very strict about that as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah. Could bring in
absolutely.
water bottles, couldn't bring in bags. Things were searched. Yeah.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Things that they could. Well, let's put it this way: things that they could sell were searched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're
Other things
funny.
that weren't officially on sale weren't really searched because my goodness, there was a smoke that came from the stage and there was a smoke that wafted through some of the audiences.
Was that barbecue smoke?
It was not, but it was natural, but it was homegrown in some cases.
Oh wow.
Some of it reminded me of California. I could smell California wafting through Oakland. Woo,
Oh my
Chico.
gosh.
Woo, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you had a good time. It wasn't a good expensive time, but it was a good
Woo,
time
woo.
nonetheless, right?
Oh yeah, O'Hare Airport on Monday had not a good time.
Oh, unfortunately, I was hearing about some of the things regarding air travel and what was going on you know, with you.
I got to experience some of that personally. Yeah, so
Hmm.
American and Spirit Airlines canceled hundreds of flights that day. At O'Hare, they were simply overwhelmed by people who had come in for the festival. I
Hmm.
guess maybe at different times, and now we're all leaving all at the same time on Monday, and it was just a cluster clump of people. You couldn't move, you couldn't do anything. Flights got canceled, reservations got moved.
Wow.
I left out of O'Hare. I was supposed to be there, leaving out of there at about 3, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I ended up leaving out of there at 9 to,
Mm.
you know, for to drop for departure, and there were still people there.
Yeah.
There were still people there, and I don't think they were leaving anytime soon. So
Mm.
yeah, so I mean, I guess when you get out of the habit of having festivals and large events, and that it's going to take a while for that muscle memory to kick back in. It's like, hey, you can't have two people checking in 50 to 75 travelers. There can't be just two people on the desk doing that. You got to have everybody in. And they
Hmm.
can all go on lunch break at the same time. Okay, just can't happen. I mean, or
Right.
else you get what you got, which
Yeah.
was rough.
Yeah, that's a tough break, but I'm grateful to hear your son got a chance to travel off and be it just unfortunate it took so long, but it's
Yeah, but
I don't know.
totally worth it.
Yeah.
Lifetime memories. I mean, that's the thing that, when he started Lollapalooza almost like 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be this festival. But what
Mm-hmm.
it's turned into is turned into this kind of iconic, experience. We've had since then what Coachella,
Yeah.
Bonnaroo, these other festivals. Now things like the Governor's Ball, right?
Yeah.
In these experiences, and they mean summer. They represent summer. When you hear Lollapalooza, you think, oh, it's summer. Like,
Yeah.
okay, it's summer, and we didn't have that last year.
Yeah.
But summer was back on this year, and what I mentioned, you may have missed it, Val. As part of it, I think there was a sense of like this was a reward for what we have been going through over the last 2 years to have
Mm-hmm.
an event like this.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also, I felt, a real tangible feeling of like a last hurrah almost, because the reports kept coming in. Okay, got to wear your mask here. Got to do this. Got to take that. It's like, well, I'm vaccinated. Oh, it doesn't matter. You still got to do this. It's like, this might be like a last hurrah. Like it may be a while before we get to do something on this scale again.
Yeah. Well, things are still going forward. I'm seeing um uh, Broadway via Chicago open up, but I've noticed that the start times for some of these plays have been pushed up. At first, I saw November dates, and now I'm seeing further. Seeing further to the future, like January. So there are many live performances and other things in and around Chicago and in and around many cities around the country where they are, planning things, and you have to, get the license, get the park permits, do whatever, get the secure the area that will be used
Mm-hmm.
for concerts, or area that, or the theater that will be used for a performance. And if you're, unfortunately, this Delta variant, another, now I think it's another strand that's coming out. You got all these things happening, and then at the same time, there's a slow rise in people getting infected. So people are
Especially
watching that.
aptly named.
People,
It's so aptly named, the Delta variant. I just,
yeah,
I just wish we, having lived unfortunately in Texas for a while, it was always like, see, we Texas, we don't need the rest of the country. Like,
right.
I wish we could form a Louisiana, Bama, like a Louisiana, Bama state, you know, just
Okay.
for people like, I'll never get no vaccination. I don't need to. I don't need that. They can't force it down my throat. Can't make me do the vaccination. I wish we
Mhm.
could take all those free thinking Americans and they can have a space of their own and they can just, you know, be free to be the proud Americans they are. And the rest of us, also happily proud Americans, can go about our lives without having to worry about the diseases that these folks won't let die so that they can exercise their independence.
Yeah.
So they
I mean,
won't be muzzled by the idea of that is insulting when you think about slavery and the fact that African Americans had to actually wear muzzles at times. To call that cloth around your face a muzzle is just ridiculous.
yeah.
I mean, but all these free thinkers, hey, have at it.
Yeah.
You deserve a space of your own, but to keep that space away from me so I don't have to do unnecessary things because I've had 2 shots. Okay?
I've, I,
And I want my kids to be safe.
all right.
They shouldn't be worried about free thinkers who don't let diseases die and don't let conditions like fade away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
So
remember I was,
that bothers me at times. So I just
yeah, I was telling you about Indiana University. They, for kids coming back to college, to that particular college, they now put into effect that if you are fully vaccinated, you can come back. If you're not, you can't. And 6 students got together and sued Indiana University and said, "Hey, well, you're violating our constitutional right to, be free not to vaccinate." And Indiana
not
University came back and said, "You know what? You could be free to go to another university, because if you're coming
exactly
here, you have to vaccinate." And so the court ruled in favor of Indiana University, and
great.
unfortunately, those kids will not be allowed to come back to campus. So
No,
it's coming down to that.
fortunately, they will be able to come back to that campus.
Mm,
There are other schools that would gladly accept them. I know.
yeah, and that have that,
Go there.
be free, and
Be free
don't
there.
vaccinate, and you can, wear your mask forever, be protected. And I find it hilarious for the folks that won't vaccinate and they won't wear their mask either. So it's like a catch 22.
I know, right?
So now my cousin is the one that kind of helped me, get over the hump of not wanting to be vaccinated. He's like, "Okay, so we really don't know anything about the vaccine, but one thing we do know: COVID kills." That's what he told me. And
Well,
I said, "I don't want to die. Let me get over here and get this vaccine."
I mean, and you talk about college students. They have the ability because of their age to make that decision.
Yeah, they do.
They're kids that and I have one of them,
Hmm.
that not old enough to get a vaccine.
Right.
So would get it, but not old enough. So
Hmm.
I mean, so when people do get the vaccine, they're not just protecting themselves; they're making things better for those who are unable to do it.
Yeah.
Those are the kids, and they got no say in this. That's
No.
that's the part that hurts me as much as we want the schools to open, and I do want the schools to open and come back in. As far as I know, my kids will be in school. So, but man, it's not that hard, man. It just I didn't even feel the first one. Just anyway.
Yeah, right. And you know my story. I went for a wedding in New York. I got the second shot the day before, and the next day I was on a plane in New York. Now I was drinking a whole lot of water. I was in the restroom a lot because I wanted to make sure I was uh
Hydrated,
hydrated because I wanted to just, not
the
let
water cycle
pretty
through.
much I just wanted things to cycle through. Like there, I won't be getting sick. I don't have time to get sick because people unfortunately have had reactions with the second shot, and it was a little a little pain. And I was like, yeah, we gotta get this plane. We're gonna be drinking this water.
Yeah,
We're gonna be drinking this water, and we're
yeah.
gonna keep it moving. So, but ultimately, guys, it's your decision. Literally, it's your decision, but we hope and pray that you make the right decision for you, your family, and for the society around you. The society around you. This COVID is not going away as long as we have folks that are saying, "Hey, it's all right," and we don't have to vaccinate, and they're not further protecting themselves by wearing a mask. That's the other thing. So if you don't want to vaccinate, that's fine. If the request or if the demand is made to put on a mask and you're not vaccinated and you don't want to get vaccinated, just do that. I I I feel like that's probably the best way to, for the folks that are very anti-vax, they're like, I don't want it.
Or, or,
Okay.
or, or really exercise your personal freedom and independence and stay the hell home. Do whatever you want to do at home. Nobody making rules there but you.
I don't know. You might live with a wife or a kid or something. Oh, wait, gotta
Okay,
think about
tell
your
you.
society.
You know what's best.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, Michael, this has been exciting. Our first time
Yeah. And while
doing this via hey StreamYard. So
and while you were away, I was letting people know about what's dropping tomorrow.
oh wow.
And that really, really enriching oh wow, edifying conversation that we
Hmm.
had today.
With Bernadette speaks.
Bernadette speaks. Ah, you got it
Yeah,
right.
got it
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right. And we are excited that she's on and she is
Number two
I,
show on Netflix.
number two show on Netflix.
At least when I checked.
All American, the
All American.
CW.
Yep.
They just released the full season, the third season, and it's been renewed for a fourth season. So we're happy,
Mm-hmm.
excited for the folks over at All American. She had a couple of guest appearances on there as the character Ruth Scott. We talked to
Mm-hmm.
her about that.
Directing.
And I feel like, yeah, the directing, what we talked about last
Mm-hmm.
week, she's a great follow-up to what we discussed on last week. So we had making the movie part one. So I feel like this is a great follow-up to what we talked about last week. So
Yeah.
tomorrow, you will hear
Bernadette.
Bernadette speak.
Bernadette will speaks. And we do talk to her about this little movie she was in
This
1997
little,
called
this little
uh,
movie,
Love Jones.
this little small movie.
This some of y'all might have seen.
This little
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. So you're gonna be sick of me on our Facebook group. I'm going to probably post every line or every little clip or scene that I could think of from Love Jones or from All American or anything else that Bernadette has done, and you're gonna be like, okay, she really wants us to check out this podcast. So
You
next
know my favorite
tomorrow
line. You know my favorite line from Love Jones.
was that.
What did it say?
Oh, and if you haven't seen, if you're one of the few people that have not seen Love Jones, that is currently streaming on Netflix as well.
It's still on there. All right, all
It
right.
is still on there. I thought it was going to get dropped, but I think it got renewed. So
Uh, it may be on HBO Max. I know it's been on and off there too.
hmm
So
so it'll
it's
be great.
certainly worth watching.
Yeah.
If you
So
haven't
let us know what some of your I did that. I asked you guys what was some of your favorite scenes from a movie, and some folks gave some great descriptions of films. So um, we are we're kind of going in the direction of filmmaking, but we still want to talk about relevant topics, and we do that here on Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. What's your name, Michael?
Well, my name isn't Valarie Johnson, but your name is. No, there we go. Your name is. So this is Talk on Tuesday, and it lose extra with Valarie Johnson.
Thank you so
Thank
much for joining
you.
us. Thank you guys for joining us so much on tonight, and we'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay. How do I do this?